Hey, Pastor Steve Waldron. I hope you're having a great day in Jesus. We're going to look at a little comparison between the CSB Study Bible, which is so popular right now, kind of a Southern Baptist Bible translation put out by Holman, Southern Baptist kind of publishing house, 1748, and the Life Application Chronological Study Bible. Just let you see some differences in them. I mean, they're both kind of set up different, and but we'll do some size comparisons, that kind of thing too. I like even how the edging is different, and that's just because of the various illustrations on the inside of them. Looks like I cut this one. Maybe I got it on sale because it was cut or something sometime. I'll show you the back too, just because it lists stuff that is in the back. So this is the Chronological Life Application Study Bible, KJV, which is one of my favorites. I'm a big believer in chronological Bibles. I think everybody probably needs to read the Bible through chronologically at least once or twice, just to see, because it's kind of neat when you're putting Isaiah back in the prophets, or even with some of the Psalms and the Psalms into the life of David, Job and Genesis. There's a lot there, and just kind of cool. Getting like Judges, Joshua, their chronology correct, putting the prophets, major and minor, into the context of 1st and 2nd Kings, 1st and 2nd Samuel, 1st and 2nd Chronicles. So, as far as size goes, the CSB Study Bible is just a little bigger. It's not only just bigger, I don't know, that's probably 1/8 of an inch bigger this way. They're pretty much, the Life App's actually maybe 3/16 of an inch taller, but in thickness, probably 1/8 of an inch. The CSB Study Bible is a little thicker. So let's open these things up and let us look. We're not going to just pay a lot of attention as far as, does it have presentation page, all that kind of stuff. We're going to get to the meat of the matter. This is just one of the best things in any study Bible is right here, this timeline that the Chronological Life app does. I'm big on timelines too. One thing that was really revelatory to me as kind of a younger Christian is when I had the Dixon's Analytical Study Bible, and they have a section in there, like at the end of Genesis, that it would say, okay, in Genesis, what was going on in world history? What was going on in Egypt? What was going on in China? So from that, I learned this appreciation for chronology, and it's really never left me. I'm very thankful for that. We're not going to show you like what's behind the dust jackets. All those are on individual reviews. I've done individual reviews on both of these. So that's a really cool section. And see, look, I can scarcely say how well Tyndale, who did this, started by the one who, Mr. Taylor, who did the Living Bible, set all this up. See, to me, that's just so, it draws you to read it. And it's not just for young people. I mean, I like astronomy. I don't know very few people who don't like astronomy, but it's all just incredible. So you can just see how this whole Bible is set up to draw you in. Now, the problem you would have with like making this your primary church Bible is it's in chronological order. So that's going to make it, in some cases, very difficult to find. So let's say if I go on up just a little bit here, look what we have here. Towards the very beginning of the Bible, we have the book of Job. So obviously Job is in the poetical books in other Bibles, so that's just going to be a little different. It's going to make it obviously different. But you can just see the kaleidoscope, the exciting kaleidoscope this morning. So this would be one you just read, It does have some references kind of down at the bottom, and most of the references are actually like translational type references, and then it's got notes at the bottom, and then it's got chronology at the top. It does have in-text headers like Psalms. I mean, so Psalms that have inspired hymns. So, you know, Psalms are just going to be in different places. Here's Isaiah. I was just looking at an archaeological thing. Ezekiel. So, you know, I've just went Jeremiah, Ezekiel, back to Jeremiah, 2 Kings, Obadiah. This actually is a very good page to see all that in. So if you ever, and it comes in other translations, if I'm not mistaken. So this is in KJV. So like a CSB study Bible, I'm not sure if they have it in KJV yet, but sometimes with a translation, CSB, it's sometimes hard to get it into a KJV because some of the notes are translational specific. Many of the notes are not, you know. Bethlehem is always 7 miles south of Jerusalem, regardless of your translation. So let's take a quick look in here, and you're going to see this is set up much more like a traditional study Bible. But at the beginning, it's got this massive archaeological apologetics section, which again, I think any Christian can benefit by reading through the veracity of this. Sometimes I am appalled at secular scholars and their lack of realization. You know, they're just quoting different platitudes of the Bible, a lot of them from the 1800s or even 1700s, you know, from Voltaire or something, and while the Bible's not true, and they're missing totally how we can know the Bible's true. Also, another wonderful thing is this has dual ribbon markers in here as well. So let's get to the beginning of Genesis. You can see it also has a chronological component, introduction to Genesis, which is very large. I can see why the CSB Study Bible is selling so well. And it's got an introduction to the Pentateuch, because you're talking about a seminary in a bag, so to speak, seminary in a study Bible. It's just fantastic. 55 maps, 61 timelines, 94 photographs, 368 word studies, 15,000 plus study notes, book introductions and timelines. But it's going to be set up, as you can see, begin to see, much more like a traditional study Bible. 2 columns, center column reference, which I like center column reference. I've done individual reviews on both those. 3 columns on the bottom, which lends one to a ton of information. It's not just 2 columns on the bottom. But I'm not sure of the translational availability of the CSB right now study Bible, that I'm just not sure if it comes in another translation, but it would be good. It is red letter. Boy, the introduction to Zechariah is just so beautiful. And so look at what you get between. You'll hear me mention a lot that if you're not looking in between Old and New Testament in so many study Bibles, you're missing a lot. Look at the information. I mean, I'm just doing several pages at once. Look at the information in the CSB Study Bible between the Old and the New Testaments. And then you go into the introduction of the Gospel and Acts. So each section is going to have that introduction before you get into biblical introduction. I'm skipping a couple pages here. Let's see if you can get the red letter here. Nope, not yet. Let's get you to the red letter. So really, these serve two different purposes. Both are going to be extremely valuable for Bible study. Like the Life app, Chronological Life app, I would say you'll have a very difficult time like taking it to church. To me, it's more, I would just sit down at the beginning and read that thing from stem to stern. This would be more of a study Bible. As you're reading the Bible, you can read various notes, which are very good. A ton of references in here as well. And I've mentioned it comes with ribbon markers, whereas the other doesn't. And then some neat stuff at the back. Doesn't have a ton of stuff at the back, but some stuff you don't see a lot in Bibles, like what really happened to the apostles. You don't see that a lot. Really good concordance. And again, so this is more just like a traditional study Bible, like your NIV study Bible and all that. The thing is, like with the NIV study Bible, I couldn't venture to guess how many an NIV study Bible sold. I mean, when it came out, it kind of just ran the field out. If you like the NIV even a little bit, it was unbelievable. But this is just like another step past that. And so let's see if we can get in between the testaments here. One area this is going to shine in, besides like kings and all that, with prophets in there, is the harmony of the Gospels, like the touch of Jesus. I mean, this is just unbelievable. Jesus talked with a despised tax collector, an insane hermit, the Roman governor, a father and his son. I mean, that's why I said just reading this, you'll get so much information. Jesus talks to the woman at the well. Who is Zacharias? 250 events in the life of Christ. Messianic prophecies. So now this is in between the testaments. This is Malachi on my right. And so this is literally a case of, you could have both these study Bibles and get maybe only 20% overlap of information. Look at this, the New Testament. You just can't believe this. Whoever did the graphics and all this in this particular Bible, I could see, like at Indiana Bible College where I teach, just making this some kind of textbook and saying, read this Bible and write a few papers on it, and that'll be a semester. Of course, because of the lack of self-discipline in so many, they would not do that, and it would not be good. You'd have to make them come to class still, no doubt about it. But look at all this. You can tell I'm just blown away. Let's see what is at the back of this Chronological Life Application Study Bible. A wonderful master index. And it can't necessarily be a concordance in a sense, but it is. But I mean, that's just a very good print in the master index. And let's get to the very, very back to these maps. These maps kind of look similar to Schuyler maps to me. And they're the thick, glossy paper. Get you a better map. Sorry about that. So the Chronological Life Application, the CSB study, both can be great. Now, a lot of people, I get a lot of criticism here on the channel. Well, if you're a KJV guy, why would you do anything with the CSB? It's for the notes. It's for the study. It's the same reason I would read a theologian that may never quote the King James, but says various things. You learn from the things around the text. So you can learn a lot. And that's just one of the things, the plan at New Life. So we wanted to do every study Bible that's ever been made, do a review on it. Obviously, not all of them are in King James, so that's why. But obviously, the notes would be where the information's at. And even there, you got to be as smart as a goose, eat food, spit out the sticks. Translation, I would go with the King James, obviously. Two great Bibles. Two amazing. I'm thankful, I'm grateful. I pray that all over the world, in Jesus' name, everybody would have access to scriptural information. Look, when we stand before the throne, we're really going to be without excuse because we got information coming out our ears. God bless. Talk with you later in Jesus' name.